If you're thinking of relocating to Celina, Texas, there's a really good chance North Sky in Celina has already popped up on the home search. Maybe you've heard from a friend how good it is, seen the beautiful homes, heard that it's a lot cheaper than nearby Prosper. But here's the question, is it actually worth all the hype you've seen, and can you justify the lower prices? Because what you see online really only tells one part of the story. Of course, the builders are gonna have the best photos, best layouts, tens if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of upgrades. Everything looks incredible, and the drone photos of the amenities make it look perfect. But here's what they don't tell you. They don't tell you what daily life inside this community actually looks like, what your commutes look like, how far it is to all your nearby absolute needs of groceries, entertaining, restaurants. And the builder isn't probably going to explain why so many people relocating from out of state are choosing Celina. And if you walk into their office, they're definitely not going to tell you that, hey, this community isn't a good fit for you, because then they don't get paid. But that's what I'm here to do. Today, we're going to cover everything from what homes actually cost here, what builders are in the community, different lot sizes, and why that's important, the schools, HOA, and tax situation, future development, pros and cons. We're going to cover a lot today and absolutely everything you need to know about North Sky. And at the end of the video, we'll go over who I see North Sky is a really good fit for, and who should probably check out another Celina or North Texas community altogether. If you're new, my name is Jake Enderman. I help families relocate here to Texas, and anytime someone reaches out, the first thing is, hey, what are the best communities? And truthfully, there's very few communities that are bad. They're bad for certain people. I'm sure you've been overwhelmed by the amount of communities in Celina. A new one just opened up I'm about to do a video on. I have a ton of videos of other neighborhoods in Celina, Prosper, and Frisco. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of neighborhoods here, and they all look great online. They all have great amenities, good layouts. Pricing in Celina is generally a lot more competitive. And my goal is to just break that down into simple bite-sized pieces. My goal isn't necessarily to convince you to buy into North Sky here in Celina, unless it's a perfect fit for you. My goal here is to give you a deep dive overview of the community, what life is here, what's building here, how far your commutes are, so you can decide if it's the right fit for you or not. And it's especially beneficial if you're moving from out of state and it can feel overwhelming. You're trying to compare neighborhoods you've never even been to from hundreds, if not thousands of miles away, know what the commute routes are gonna look like, what the school's like, is the HOA actually what they say? Are the amenities even built right now? And you're trying to figure out, should I buy a new construction or pre-owned neighborhood? I've had these conversations countless times with relocation buyers, and that's why I do these videos, is to really help you break that down. Now, before we get into kind of where this community sits on the map, before we jump into the location of North Sky, if you are planning a move here, whether that's next week, you're 6 months, a year away, feel free to reach out. My team and I have helped numerous families find the right community, understand the difference between North Sky, Light Farms, Legacy Hills, Windsong Ranch, and other great North Texas neighborhoods. So happy to hop on a phone call, Zoom call, email, whatever you're most comfortable with reaching out. It'll be pinned in the comments down below. We can help you narrow down your options before you even set foot here in Texas. Now, let's take a look at North Sky and kind of understand where it sits, because that's really one of the biggest advantages. Now, when people hear about Celina, of course, the biggest concern I always get is that's too far north. Oh. Spilled my water, one moment. Okay, now that the water's cleaned up. So many people ask, is it really that far north? And the answer is yes, it can be, depending where you're looking. I mean, Celina's super big. It's like if you look at McKinney. McKinney's all the way to almost Aubrey, all the way to Princeton. So there's East McKinney that, if you work in Dallas, is going to be terrible. And then there's McKinney right by 75 that could be a great fit. So it really depends what you're looking for. Now, the answer is yes, Celina is pretty far north. Most parts are 45 minutes to about an hour and 15 minutes north, but that's why some people love it. Now, it's one of the fastest growing cities here in North Texas. It's now up over 62,000 residents, which just about 6 months, a year ago, was at 55,000. So by 2030, they're expecting Celina to have 100,000 residents. The reason so many people are moving here is that you can get a brand new home, master plan communities, more space, and a community feel that's really just getting harder and harder to find as you get closer to Dallas. North Sky is on the east side of Celina, which is a big advantage because if you end up moving there, it gives you access that connects several of the major employment hubs and roads right to your neighborhood. Now, some realistic drive times, assuming normal traffic, no major accidents that have the road shut down, about 30 minutes to Frisco, 30 to 45 minutes to Legacy West, and you're only 25 to 30 minutes to PGA headquarters. So if you really like the Frisco life, that northern Frisco area, kind of where the Fields and Universal Kids is, you're only about 30 minutes from there. So it's really not bad, and you're gonna get a way cheaper home. Now, if you work at Toyota's headquarters or nearby it in Plano, only about 35 or 40 minutes, and to downtown Dallas and the DFW airport, you're about 50 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic. Now, if you work remotely, I really think this is where Celina is a big advantage for you because you don't care about driving to Dallas, right? That 50 minutes or an hour drive can easily turn into an hour and a half, hour and 45 if there's a wreck, weather. I don't know how it is in other states. You've got to let me know, but it starts sprinkling here in Texas. People slow down 25 under the speed limit, have their hazards on, and just go really slow. Now, not shaming anyone. If there's puddles in the road, standing water, totally get it. But if it's sprinkling, you don't need your hazards on. Now, it's also, if you're a hybrid worker, it's also great because 1 or 2 days a week, not a great drive, but you're getting more space, more home for your money, and everything's growing to you. Now, if you commute every day to downtown Dallas, I would really reconsider, honestly, Celina as a whole. Unless you're really okay with that drive, that's a beating. You know, you're talking 10 hours a week minimum in the car. I mean, that's a part-time job just driving to and from work. Now, as far as North Sky goes and what the community feels like, I have several videos already uploaded of what some of the homes look like in the community, so be sure to check those out. I'll link them. I think it's this corner. It's one of those corners, always forget. But if you want to see what you can get, I've got homes all the way from the 5s to 700s. I'm going to go back out and film Taylor Morrison's. They're a little bit lower price points. You can get in a little bit cheaper into a great neighborhood, and they still build a great home. But you're gonna have wider streets, modern architecture, some really great amenities we'll get into here a little bit later. Now, unlike the older neighborhoods, of course, this was just, a cow pasture not too long ago, so you're not gonna have those super big mature trees like you're gonna get in some of those McKinney, Frisco, Plano neighborhoods, which you may really like, younger, newer feel. Which would be a big bonus. And if you're really looking for those bigger trees, you're gonna have to hunt that down. There are some older Celina neighborhoods that are gonna give that to you. Again, neither's right or wrong. It's just really, what do you prefer? Again, I'm not here to sell you on North Sky. I'm here to tell you exactly how it is and you to decide if it's a good fit or not. Now, I know I'm getting a little early of our pro and con side. With it being such a young, new development, you're going to continue to see growth, new parks, new trails, new amenities, but you're paying for that HOA that may not have all the amenities yet. That's one of the huge downsides of any new construction neighborhood, honestly. Like, I'm in one right now. My HOA is actually really good. It's $500 a year, $580, something like that. We're paying for a pool that isn't there. They're saying 2027. Now we don't even know if there's going to be a pool. So now that I've overlaid some drone footage, you kind of see what the neighborhood looks like. The next question is probably the biggest and most important question, and that's, what kind of homes can you actually buy here, and are the builders worth considering? So I'm sure you've watched several other home tour videos, gotten to like. You may have a favorite builder already. If you do, comment below like, hey, I like Highland, I like Drees, I like Grand, I like Taylor Morrison, K-Hob, whatever it may be. I'm gonna jump right into that because that's honestly the most important question is, there's different quality and level of builders, right? I mean, Highland Homes is one of your top high-end builders. And I have to preface this, I'm not allowed to talk badly about any builders. That would go as steering, but if I filmed them on my channel, I would buy them. I'll put it to you that way. So go look at any videos. I always say who the builder is. I don't gatekeep that. You have all different levels of builders. Like, I bought a K-Hovanian. They're a great builder. They build in low price points and high price points. They're not your ultra luxury. Not all builders are created equal. They're going to have, of course, different architectural styles that you're either going to hate or love. And the floor plan you choose, builder you buy from, making sure they have a good warranty system if something does happen, and the lot you select are going to have a huge impact on how much you enjoy your everyday life. That's not just during the construction phase, that's after move-in, which we'll touch on a little bit later about lots and what's important. So let's break it all down. Now, one of the really nice things about North Sky is you do have several builders to choose from. You've got different, right? Each builder has its own little taste or niche thing that they do. You're gonna have its own style, floor plan, and different price points. Now, the biggest price point drivers, of course, they have different lot sizes. They have 40, 50, and 55 foot lots. But let's start with Taylor Morrison, then we'll go to American Legend, and then Perry Homes. Now, Taylor Morrison, I actually had a buyer almost buy Taylor Morrison in Cross Creek Meadows in Celina, but there's something else to note about builders. Some builders will do a contingent contract, others won't. It depends neighborhood to neighborhood and where it is. In this particular case, not saying this is the case for every Taylor Morrison, they would not do a contingent. So they ended up buying a Normandy home and they closed here in about a month. So if y'all are watching, congrats, excited for y'all. They ended up getting actually a really good floor plan. I think it was kind of a blessing in disguise. Taylor Morrison has, great modern floor plans, open layouts. You're often gonna find, right, that kitchen that overlooks the living room and dining. Usually, right, almost all of them have a covered patio. And then you're also going to have game room, media room, some sort of flex room, usually that could either be an office, playroom, or like I said, media room, kind of whatever you want to turn it into. And I didn't tell you, Taylor Morrison starts in the low 3s and goes kind of to your mid 4s, depending what you want built out, how big of a home, and their current availability. Now, American Legend is kind of your next step up. It's perfect for buyers that want a little bit more space without paying the luxury price tag, right? They're going to be kind of your 5s up to your 6s or so in here. And something I really like, I feel like American Legend, they're updated, they're not flashy, but they're definitely more than when you consider builder grade. They're definitely a big step up from that, super open, and they tend to maximize your floor plan and square footage. So you're gonna get a really nice home, a little bit bigger. I've got several American Legend homes on my channel. They're in 10 Mile Creek, but they very likely have the same floor plan here. And it'll at least give you an idea of kind of, what their homes look like. But you're gonna have, large primary suites, open floor plans. All of these are gonna have open floor plans. If you're not building an open floor plan right now, probably not selling a ton. Game room, media room, flex space. A lot of them have 3-car garages. And then you have Perry Homes. Now, Perry Homes is kind of the cream of the crop here. Not that the other two are great builders, do not get me wrong, but if you're looking for luxury home, top finishes, the nicest product in the neighborhood, Perry is probably going to give that to you. Now, Perry's been building homes for decades here in Texas. They're known for elegant designs. They have really high ceilings, and you're gonna have that luxury feel when you walk in. Now, a lot of them are gonna have dramatic entry, super tall ceilings. Again, I've got videos of the Perry and American Legend homes in North Sky on my channel, working on getting out there for Taylor Morrison. Have large windows. And if you're really looking for something that has a little bit more of an elevated feel, Perry Homes is often the home that you're gonna gravitate to. Now, here's why having multiple matters. One, of course, price point's the most obvious. You have Taylor Morrison, in the 3s to 4s, American Legend, that's 5 to 6s, and then Perry Homes, that's 6 to almost about 800,000. Another big advantage is you don't have, everything's a little bit built different. The brick color's different, gutters, elevations, it keeps the neighborhood looking different without having 10 builders to where it looks too different. Now, you're also gonna have different layouts, finishes, and floor plans. So if this is the perfect community for you, you have several different options to choose from. Now, one thing I would always tell you when you're coming to look here is don't fall in love with the model. That model, at this price point, we're talking probably $50 to $100, $150,000 in upgrades, probably on the lot premium. So the model home is gonna be packed with upgrades. Make sure you fall in love with the floor plan and the location. And if you're planning a visit here to North Texas, feel free to reach out to me. We can go a little bit more in depth as to why you may pick this lot versus that lot, if you should do this upgrade before you buy or just do the renovation yourself after closing. So if you have any questions or planning a move, like I said, feel free to reach out. Be more than happy to help. But let's kind of do a 30,000 foot view of home sizes and floor plans. You kind of know what you can expect. Now, of course, North Sky has several different home sizes. If you didn't gather from the $3 to about $800,000 price tag, anywhere from about 1,300 square feet up to 3,700 square feet. So whether you're downsizing, it's your first home and you just want a small home that has everything you need, you're gonna have that at 1,300. Or if you want a home big enough for the family and entertaining, you're gonna have that at almost 4,000. Now, another thing to consider is, there's homes on 40, 50, 55, and 65 foot lots in here. So you have a nice variety of yard size. That's something else that you can talk about. Hey, is it worth building this floor plan on a bigger lot for the money, or do we hate taking care of the yard and having a bigger yard? Now, of course, certain floor plans can't be built on smaller lots, so that's something we'll have to check. But lot selection matters a lot more than what you realize. You don't just want to go, that one's available, I'll take it. Because guess what? If you like spending time on the patio after work, whether that's grilling out, hanging out, playing card games, whatever it may be, and you choose a backyard that faces the summer west sun, you're never going to be out there. It's going to be too hot here in the summer. It's like 103 degrees today. That's something you can't change. That's permanent. It's not like paint color, cabinets, flooring, tile, whatever it may be that you could change. Can't change which direction your house faces. You also need to know what's the plans for what's going right in behind my house. Is that going to be phase 2 of this neighborhood? Or is a Target or Walmart or commercial space going in? Does this lot back up to a green belt, or is it another backyard? Is that important to you? And with North Sky being in its early developments, this is super important for you to know and little things to think about, because it's so easy to get caught up in the beautiful home, floor plans, and upgrades and not think about, I want to spend time outside. I need a lot that faces this direction. Now, the average price point in here is about $518,000. Of course, that'll vary depending on the builder, lot, floor plan, and upgrades for you, but just give you an idea, average price point in here, that's what you're going to be looking at. And when you compare that to other, even Celina communities, average price point in Celina is $550. You're below that. But if you compare it to Prosper or Frisco, you're really saving a lot of money there. It doesn't necessarily mean it's cheap, just telling you that to show you, hey, you can still get in a new home at a great price point, not too far from Dallas, if you're willing to do a little bit of driving. Now, let's talk about some of the other costs outside of mortgage and home prices. That's gonna be your HOA and taxes. That's the most asked for. Then we'll go into what do you get for those HOA costs. Now, HOA wise, you pay $550 semi-annually, which comes out to $1,100 a year for the HOA. For that $1,100 a year, you get a neighborhood hub, a pool, walking trails, parks, playgrounds, athletic fields, a gated dog park. Pretty cool if you have a dog. And considering everything that's included, I feel like that's a pretty good value considering other neighborhoods, amenities, and costs. But would love to know your thoughts. Let me know, does the $1,100 a year justify what you get, or do you feel like it's too high? Now, let's talk about property taxes, because that is the one kind of stigma of like, Texas has really high property taxes. Yes, also have no state income tax, have a lot of other advantages, but property taxes do suck. Now, good news, you're not in a mud, not in a pit, and you're at about a 2% tax rate, which I'm sure if you're relocating from another state with a lot lower property taxes, that seems super high, but like I said, need to map out the full financial picture. Are you making more here? Is it more affordable? Gas right now is like $3.40 a gallon. Diesel's about $4.40 a gallon. Overall, your financial picture, you may come out ahead or at least break even, and I would imagine you're moving either for work or you just love the state. Now, something I would encourage you with, and I have several great lenders, if you're not paying cash, I can connect you with to really run the numbers and estimate what it will be. That way we can shop with confidence and know that you can comfortably get into these homes. Now, here's one mistake I see buyers make all the time, and that's say, I want the cheapest house possible. Now, the cheapest home isn't, of course, always going to be the best value. You really need to ask yourself, how long do I plan to live here? Is my family going to grow? Do I work from home? Do I need an office, guest room, backyard space? Will I eventually want a pool and a big backyard? Because sometimes spending a little bit more money today can save you from having to move again and get those additional bedrooms you needed, backyard space, counter space. Because buying a home is, of course, long-term, right? Not just what you need today. What are you going to need 5-10 years from now? Okay, so now you know what homes cost, what builders there are, and what your HOA and taxes are. So really only other question is, what's it actually like to live here every day? Now, something I've realized is, while people do love the home, they generally fall in love with the area and then find the right home. Because the question isn't just, can I afford this home? The better question is, can I picture myself and my family living here, growing up here, and doing life? Now, of course, if you have kids, one of the most important questions is, well, what are the schools like? Well, good news. You're in Celina ISD, which I'm sure is one of the first filters you did when doing research here. What are the school districts like? Well, go to many of the school ratings like texasschools.gov or any other sites like that. Celina is a B rated, about 87 out of 100. So it's a great school, a little bit smaller school districts, smaller schools, better teacher to student ratios, and with it being a new community, new schools coming up, you're gonna get all the newest technology for your kid. Right now it's zoned to Celina Primary School, Celina Elementary School, Moore Middle School, Celina Junior High, and then Celina High School. Now, one thing to understand is, yes, Celina is growing super fast. New schools are gonna open. Rezoning can happen. So I'm not saying that you'll move out of Celina ISD, could happen, but definitely verify the current attendance boundaries and make sure that everything is perfect. So I would hate for you to move into a home, get a couple school years in the school district in this exact school you want your kid, and then zoning happens, and then the whole purpose you bought the home goes away. Now, this is also a super community-oriented city. You've got Celina on the Square that has a ton of events. Christmas on the Square, they just had Cajun Fest a couple months ago, crawfish boils, lots of cool shops and eating down there. And of course, you're in Texas. Friday night high school football is going to be a super big event, and you're going to get a little bit more small town atmosphere here. If your kid has a special academic, athletic, or extracurricular activity, of course, I'm more than happy to help research and find the information you need for that, but that can vary, of course, depending on your kid. But, you know, no school district is perfect for any family, but many families do settle on Celina because of the school district. It's a great city, great school district. It checks a lot of the boxes. Schools are one of your biggest deciding factors. That's something we've spent a lot of time discussing with clients and knowing what's important to them. You know, every family, you're gonna have different needs or priorities. We'd be happy to compare neighborhoods based on school rating. Just reach out to me, let me know what I can do for you to help that out. Now, let's do a big deep dive into the amenities of North Sky, because that is one of the biggest selling points. And that's one of the big draws of so many master plan communities across North Texas. They don't just give you a home to live in, they create a community. North Sky is a central amenity center called the Neighborhood Hub, and that's gonna be kind of where you can meet up with people, hang out, you know, great meeting point if you're wanting to go to the pool, you know, pick up football kids, that can be their central meeting point to do so. You've got the pool there, green space all around. Another one is you've got, they call it the Grand Lawn. Of course, it's just green space, perfect for, you know, pickup sports, hanging out with the family, neighborhood events, and a place that, you know, all the neighborhood kids can run around, hang out. You can talk to the neighbors and get to meet people in the community. They also have playgrounds, parks, athletic fields, walking trails. So you have about everything you could need without it being over the top and super grand. And then of course you have the dog park. So if you have a four-legged furry critter, you know, they're included in the amenities as well. Now, one of the most important questions is going to be, how far am I from my everyday needs, my shopping and dining? Now, the honest answer is North Sky is nowhere near as convenient as Frisco, but it's also not one of the least inconvenient Celina communities. It's a lot further south, so you're closer to the growth, and it's catching up to you, right? It's all moving north. So in 5 years from now, it's gonna be way more convenient than it is today. With that said, you're less than 10 minutes from downtown Celina and the historic Celina Square. You're about 15 to 20 minutes from HEB, which isn't terrible. That's how far I am from an HEB. And you're about 10 minutes from Starbucks. So if you're a coffee lover, Starbucks is your go-to. You're not too far. Celina also has a ton of little knick-knack mom and pop shops that are going to have some great coffee, great eats that you absolutely need to check out. And if you like to gym, the biggest name brand gym near you is Anytime Fitness, and it's about 20 minutes away. Now, like I said, Celina, all the growth is moving towards you. So in a few years, you're going to have more shopping, dining, restaurants, entertainment, gyms moving towards you. and you're going to get to buy in at probably a much lower price point than what it will be in 5 years. And if you're comfortable with that short drive in exchange for the future growth, it's going to be a good fit for you. If you're really looking for a community that has everything 5 minutes away, North Sky really isn't going to be a good fit for you. Now, if you're a commuter, let's talk about what your commute route's going to look like. That's one of the biggest deciding factors on if a community is a good fit is how far do you have to drive? Now, if you work from home, of course, fantastic, not an issue. You get more home, more land, maybe not land, more backyard. Although Celina does have a lot of acreage properties, newer construction in a quiet community. But if you're commuting to Frisco, Legacy West, Toyota headquarters, and PGA a few times or even 5 times a week, a lot of people find it manageable, right? Those are all 45 minutes or less. But if you're commuting to Dallas or downtown Dallas, that's probably at least 12 to 20 hours a week in the car. Now, no matter how nice the house is, the ultimate luxury you have is your time. So you're losing, if you're working 40 hours a week, you might as well just say you're working 60 because you're driving. You're spending, 12 hours a day away from your house and your family. Now, depending where you're moving from, that may just be your normal commute and you say, sign me up, I can get way more home. But that may be a deal breaker for you, understandably. Either is wrong. I can't tell you right from wrong. I can tell you I wouldn't want to drive an hour each day, even though a lot of times I end up driving an hour. But only you can decide which one matters most to you. Now, if you're trying to decide between North Sky or another community, don't just rely on the photos online, Google Maps. Neighborhoods have completely different feels and personalities, even when they're only a few miles apart. And that's why when I have clients come in, we can spend all day in one community or several communities. And then the next day we may go retour it as they have questions. Hey, which way was that facing? How far are we from this again? So want to make sure you can experience that, as this is going to be one of the biggest financial purchases you make. So if you are considering that move, have any questions for me, reach out to me. All my contact info is below. We'd love to help you build those neighborhood tours when you're here around your budget, lifestyle, and what's most important to you. Now, who should buy here and who should avoid altogether? To understand that, we kind of need to know, what does the future of North Sky look like? Right, we've covered the homes, the builders, the school, the amenities, and what everyday life looks like today, but what's it gonna look like 5 years from now? Like we talked about, everything's growing to you. You're gonna have schools, restaurants, dining, entertainment, probably more work jobs and employment hubs, maybe moving to Celina or Frisco or Prosper, a little bit closer to you. You're getting a lot of development. That's what most people are most excited. That's a lot of most, but that's what people are most excited about, is the growth and what is coming to Celina. Now, let's talk about pros and cons. We'll start with the pros first. One of the biggest pros is, of course, going to be the home price. You get a lot of value at the price point, right? Even if you, let's just call it 500, right? That was about the average, 500,000, 4 beds, 2.5 baths, 2,500 square feet or so. You get plenty of space versus if you try and go get a new build like that in Frisco, you're looking at least 7, closer to 825. Now, of course, you also get great amenities. It's not like you move north and you've got to draw in the dirt and kick rocks and cans around for your kids' entertainment. They're going to have pools, parks, playgrounds, walking trails. Your dog has entertainment. And then, of course, the future growth, right? We've already talked about that. I don't need to go any more into about everything's coming to Celina. But you are in Celina ISD, so that's a big bonus. You're getting a lot of house in a good school district, which even other new build communities can't say that they have as good of a school district as Celina. Now, one of the biggest cons, right? I said one of the biggest pros is you get a new house. It's also the biggest con is everyone else is getting a new house built, right? So you're going to deal with construction. You may get nails and tires. You may get woken up. Your sleeping baby may get woken up by a nail gun, hammer, construction. So that's something to consider, is not only is the direction your lot faces could be important, what upgrades you do, what size lot you get, but are you the first home being built on the street and there's 20 others that have to get built? Or are you one of the last ones and you're not even going to hear the construction because it's 8 streets over? Now, the second con is of course, and this may not even be a big con for you, it depends. Shopping and groceries, they're going to be a little bit further away. Now, if you drive to work, stop on the way home. It's not really an inconvenience, but if you forget, or you forget to take the cheese out of your car like I did, you got to go back to the store and get cheese. Was excited to go fishing, all right, forgot to unload, only went to the store to get cheese, and it's not good if cheese sits in a 100-degree car. So there's something to think about though. On a serious note, everyday errands, maybe 10, 20 minutes further, you add that up, that's a lot of minutes each week, right? That could be a couple hours you could get back if you move to, say, Frisco. Some of the other ones is right, you may like that it's not busy today, but in 5-10 years, when you're at 100,000 and they're eventually projecting Celina to be at 400,000 people, it's gonna be busy. So it's not gonna be the same Celina it is today in a year, 5 years, 7 years from now. So it's something to think about. Who do I see North Sky being a great fit for? I really think families that are relocating here want great amenities, but still a reasonable commute for you as the parents. You get a lot more home for your money, of course, like we just talked about, and your commute is very manageable, depending where you are, right? If you're down in Dallas, it's a toss-up. Let me know, would you do it, would you not? Of course, great for remote workers, pretty obvious there. Of course, remote workers and young families, right? You've got everything for your little kids, you've got parks, green spaces, playgrounds, and then as they get older, right, you have all the other amenities they can enjoy. Now, this neighborhood's also great for move-up buyers. If you maybe started in that 1,300 square foot home a few years ago, you've built up equity, gotten some raises, you want a bigger home, but you want to move a little bit out, have less traffic, and get more home for your money, it's great, right? You have those bigger floor plans up to 3,700 square feet, 5 beds, additional bedrooms. So it's really gonna be a great fit for you there. Now, it's not gonna be great for you if you want everyday conveniences right around you, want a ton of space between the homes. They're not 0 lot lines, but you do have, the homes are closer to you. If you're moving from a home on 2-3 acres, it's gonna feel crammed for you. Or if you commute to downtown Dallas and want the shortest drive possible, it's not gonna be a great fit for you. Now, if you're unsure where you sit and say, I feel like I'm kinda in the middle, reach out to me. You can even comment, you can call me, text me, email, schedule a Zoom, whatever it may be, because every neighborhood has trade-offs, no community is perfect, and you may need to compare a couple before you decide Sky Farms. North Sky is it, or you may decide, hey, Light Farms is better, or Legacy Hills is where I need to be. Or you may decide Celina is not even for you and end up in Prosper, Frisco, or another North Texas suburb. Now, after I've toured this community and, toured the floor plans, I can really see why so many people love it. You get gorgeous homes. Even the model I toured in the mid-5s and 700,000s with the upgrades, it was a great deal. I mean, super affordable homes, plenty of space, big backyards, awesome covered patios, great amenities, and location-wise, it's not that far of a drive. So if you're considering a move to North Texas, like I said, whether it's in North Sky or you may think you may want another community, I'd love to help walk you through the process, make sure we get you a great deal on a new or pre-owned home. More importantly, find the perfect community for you and your family here in Texas. So if you are planning that move, reach out to me. All my contact info is below. Love to help you make a smooth move and see you in Texas soon.